The commands output line of sight and query line of sight are fundamentally different to all of the other ZVI and ZTV commands in that, unlike those which look from receptor locations towards the proposed development, the line of sight commands look from the proposed development outwards. And the best way to demonstrate the concept of line of sight is to use the dynamic query line of sight command. In this situation, we're going to test the visibility of a 40-meter high wind turbine as viewed from a person walking along the terrain at an eye height of 1.6 meters. Therefore, the eye height is the wind turbine itself, and that is the height above the terrain surface. We enter 40 meters at this point. The target height is the height of the person's eye line walking along the terrain surface. We select the line color for the visible lines and also a different color for the invisible lines. We set the angular interval, and this will do a full 360-degree ray. The maximum number of lines in that 360-degree ray is 10,000, so just be careful how fine you set that angular interval. We set the maximum sight distance and also adjust for earth curvature and refraction. We can now move the cursor dynamically around the terrain surface. By selecting mode, we can snap on an existing observation within the survey. We can also type in a coordinate for the wind turbine location. But I'm just going to move the cursor to a position and click with the mouse, and it will draw the line of sight rays. As it goes from red to black, we can see this line here. A better example is to move the cursor close to this heighted surface feature representing this woodland, and you will see the effect that that surface feature has on the line of sight rays. And we can move the cursor around and simply click with the mouse, and it will perform new line of sight analyses immediately. This is the one I'm going to use inside the output line of sight analysis. What this will do is generate a new survey containing those lines which we've already seen inside query line of sight. It remembers the last selected pivot point, but we can go and reiterate the position. It remembers the eye height and the target height. We can choose whether to do a full circle, or alternatively we can take a restricted arc in this fashion. We can set the angular interval, the maximum sight distance, and the feature code to represent the lines for the visible rays and also invisible. If we select none, that means there will be no lines where it is invisible. You can see the lines of visibility, and we can now save and load. I'm going to use the previous survey as my prototype, which means that I will automatically get the mapping backdrop, load the data in, and you will see there the line of sight rays displayed inside this new survey. Again, you can see the shadow that this heighted surface feature is casting on the line of sight. And if you want to change the colours, you can go in and change the colour of the link feature that we've used for the line of sight.